Still, that issue is not resolved. That Azure DevOps, we have raised a request. Mostly 1 or 2 days, they will provide that access, I think.
Good morning, sir.
Very good one. Still, that issue is not resolved, sir. Regarding the CI/CD,
Okay, sir.
so I have requested for providing that access. Okay, to that organization. Mostly they may take at least 5 to 7 days. The TTA. Yeah, this is my data. Other four columns ID name, salary, and department number. I want to perform the some kind of aggregate calculations. Alright, in that SQL, so we'll do the aggregate calculations DNO comma your aggregate functions, right? Your grouping functions, right? In case we want to perform sum of salary, right? Total salary. In case we want to perform any count of department number. Table. Right. I mean, we'll do the group by functions and aggregate functions are grouping functions, right? Because you want to divide the data based on the specific groups. On top of it, you want to perform the some grouping calculations, right? The grouping calculations. Then you will use the group by class as a mandatory to divide the data, right? If you're not using the group by class, right, you can perform the especially grouping functions at the table level, right? There is no specific group. You want to perform your grouping calculations, specific your entity level or table level. If you are using the group by class, it will divide the data based on your specific group, right? You can include a number of columns, right? The combination, right? If you include the two, three columns, the two, three columns combination, it will divide the data. On top of it, you can see the sum, and the count function, right? But I want to do the same operation, right? I want to do the same operations with help of the Spark or PySpark. Means basically the data frame. I don't want to perform the Spark SQL. Correct. If I want to perform the Spark SQL, right, df underscore output equal to spark.sql within the double quotes or triple quotes, will use this logic, right? It will execute this query, and on top of it, you can create your data frame, right? That output data frame, right? Output data frame. I mean, you can use to write the data into the your target system, right? It could be CSV or Parquet, right? Or any delta table, right? I don't want to use the Spark skill. What is that alternative? Right? That alternative you can use here. Yes. Right. The same logic. Depart group by DNO, right? Comma sum of or the column salary, sum of salary. If you want, you can give some dot alias. Mm. trunk correct alias dot group by. Yes, some salad. With column renamed. Right. Yeah, this is one of that way, but it should work alias also, but not sure maybe. the data type issues. It is taking the long type, right? That's why it's not working, I think. Right. In case if you want to perform the grouping calculations, not, I mean, we can use the data frame also to perform the your group by class. Then you can use your additional operations also, like sum of the salary, count of the department, average salary, minimum, maximum also you can perform. Minimum, maximum also you can perform. So this is also, right. If you want to perform all the calculations, right, you can use that your aggregate functions. Alright, let me remove time being. Sum of salary. Dot alias. Why it's not working? We'll see. Dot alias. Total salary. You can use your count. Yes, salary is not. No, sum of salary. Dot alias. Total salary. 700, 1500, 1500. Correct 100. 500 plus 200, 700, correct. Yeah, 800 plus 700, 1500. Yeah, 1500. But only the problem here, we should import these functions. But normal SQL, so no need to import your aggregate. By default, it will work. The Spark SQL by default, it will support your all your aggregate. the column. Let me use call function. Total salary. So this is equivalent to your having class, right? If you want to perform any having class also, you can do these operations. It is equivalent to your having class, right? Because you are executing your upgrade functions on top of it, you're performing your restriction on top of your, I mean, while creating the data frame also, you can do these kind of operations, or post completion of the data frame also, do your regular filter class. Now this very class is equivalent to your having class. This very class is equivalent to your having class, or if you don't want to consider this having class means create data frame on top of it, df equal to again df dot filter, or where you can use total salary greater than 700, up to your wish. Otherwise you can do that row level operations or grouping level operations also you can perform. Now this is equivalent to your having class. So because on top of it you're executing it, on top of it you're executing. It's equivalent to your having class, or it is equivalent to your filter condition also, because you are performing into the group level restrictions, right? Anyway, the data frame is created, on top of it you are performing that very class. It will execute the first these operations, right? Right. These operations it will execute. On top of it you are using that where. It is equivalent to your having also, right? Means while creating into the data frame only you are executing. There is no specific having here. Directly you can use that where class also. Clear, right? So we have one more file format, that is a Parquet. But let me here. So as of now, we discussed about only the CSV, right? But at the CSV, but in the real time, right? In the real time, from after Spark 2.6 onwards, right? The default format is a Parquet. But so before 2.6, right? So we have the different types of format like Avro, ORC, and Parquet, CSV, and other file formats. So it depends on the performance issues. From after Spark 2.6 onwards, the Spark internal format is at Parquet. The Spark internal format is at Parquet. Right, for example, let me read the data from the CSV. EMP underscore 202. DF underscore SRC equal to spark dot pre dot format. dot load emp underscore 2021. This is my data. If you want, you can do the drop duplicates. If you want, you can do the drop duplicates up to your wish. Right. Now I have created my data from in between. Maybe I'm performing some transformations. Right. In between, I'm performing some transformations. What is the transformations? Let me add some with column. Project. This is my additional column. Maybe in between I'm performing some filter or where class, order by class, some aggregate functions I'm performing. That aggregate functions I'm performing. Maybe Windows functions also I'm including. So what is the next? Right, I have done my extraction. Right, in between transformations. Correct. So what is the final step? I have to write the data, or I have to save that my output into my target location. Right, my target location. But your target location is a file storage, not a table. If it is a table, we'll use the JDBC option. Either it is SQL DB or DW, we'll use the JDBC option, right? JDBC option will write the data into your target location. But what is the requirement? My requirement, I want to write the data into, again, the file storage. Right, again the file storage, you want me to use again CSV? No, I don't want to write the data into that CSV. I need one, right, good format. That format should save the space, right, should save the space, plus it should give the some column storage. Right, it is CSV, it is a row level storage, right? I'm expecting some column level storage, right? It should give the some good performance, plus coming to space also it should save, right? Space also it should, because your save CSV, it will not save your space, right? Because it is a row level operations, it will not perform any compression by default, right? From the CSV default there is no compression techniques. Explicitly you have to convert your CSV into some compression techniques, right? To, I mean, save your I mean, file storage space, right? File storage. But I need one default format. From the default format, right? I mean, the Spark default format, the data should be into the compression techniques, right? Plus it is a columnar storage. But which format we should take? The format name is called Spark. The format name is called Spark. df underscore src dot write format is a Spark. The Parquet is a Spark internal format from 2.6 onwards. Spark 2.6 onwards. Parquet is a Spark internal format of the storage, right? So, with the help of the Spark, you can save your space. You can save your space. So, by default, right? By default, it will write the data into your target into the compression format. So, the default compression is snappy. The default compression format is snappy, right? Let me use the dot to save. Files to tables. Let me see the file stores tables. Already registered. File store tables Spark EMP. Where is the Spark EMP? File stores. Right. File stores tables. FS capital files. df underscore src dot override format Spark dot save. Why I'm not able to see this folder here? File store, STOE.
You typed wrong name, Samash.
Wrong name. That's
Steve.
right. It should create the this folder also, right? Why I'm not able to see this file? STOE folder. Why the root folder is not able to create? Right here. Now we have changed it, right? File store, tables, the test park. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. 5 part files were created, underscore success, underscore committed, underscore started. Let me check the number of partition files. df underscore src dot create 5 part files, 500 part files, 1, 2, 3, 4 here. Because here source data frame contains 5 partitions, so 5 part files will be created. The same like your CSV, right? See here, the default format is a snappy format. The default format is a snappy. The text extension is at Parquet. Right now your data is in the compression techniques. Let me execute the display. success.0, completed is 524. The rest of the files are having the data. So the default, I mean, compression techniques of the Park is the Snappy. The default compression technique is the Snappy. Right, while writing the data into the tier Parquet, right? Right, while writing the data into the tier Parquet, the data will be compression. Right. Let me try to read the data with the help of the dbutilities command. dbutils.fs.head will use dbutils.fs. Net. See, the data is not in the readable format. The data is not in the readable format. If you observe, right, if you observe, there is a type struct fields, right? See, your metadata information, that your metadata information in your last row, right? It contains your column names and data types, right? So this kind of information you will not see in that file, right? In the CSV, it is a header information, right? Your definition always it is a header information, but into that Parquet, right? In the Parquet, it is internally it will store your column definition information also. See, right? Your ID, right? Your ID data type is a string, right? Your name, the data type is a string. Your salary, the data type is a string, right? Each and every column. So by default, it will consider into the string data type. Right? The project name, see, the name, project name type string. Right? Nullable equal to false. Right? It is your struct type struct field definition, right? Here, basically your schema definition, right? Here, schema definitions. Because here Spark you can see here org.apache.spark.sql parquet.row.metadata, right? In your data, right? In your data, it will save the your schema definition also, right? Your schema definition here, schema definition information also will be saved into that your Parquet. But whereas in the CSV, I mean, you will not see the separate the schema definition, right? Schema definition. The first row depends, right? If you are using the header equal to true, right? It will not consider the first row as a data, right? It will consider the header. If you're not using header equal to true, it will consider as a your data. But where in the Parquet, right? Parquet is a schema on read, right? Your information will be saved into that your Parquet also. But how can I read the data from that Parquet file? All right, how can I read the data from the Parquet? Spark dot read dot format. You can use the Parquet, or you can use the spark.read.parquet of, you can give the your file name details, right? Dot load. Let me read the data from that Parquet. See, ID name, salary, project name, right? ID name. How many rows? 14 rows, right? 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106. Right. If you want to read the data from that Parquet, you can use that Parquet format. Right. Copy paste. Let me use that header equal to true. Right. Same records, right? 101, 100 till 14 records, till 14 records. ID name, salary, project name, ID name, salary, project name. So dot option header equal to true is not mandatory. No need to explicitly call out here dot option header equal to true. In this example, I have not used dot option header equal to true, right? Because this is a schema on read, because your file, I mean, Park contains your schema information, right? While extracting the data, it will extract the column definition from this file format, because here it contains the dot row dot metadata information, right? Because it is a schema on read, schema on read. No need to explicitly use the dot option header equal to true, dot option header equal to true option. No need to use, right? Let me go and create one df underscore park. Let me use the schema information. Let's see here, all data types are here, all data types are equivalent to string data type. All data types are equivalent to a string data type. Let me explicitly use that inferential schema. Dot option infer schema. Right, it all data types are converted into the only string, because before writing the data into the Parquet, your source data frame contains only the string data types, right? The string data types, it's everything converted into that string only, right? Right. Here you observe it, all the data types are here, string data types. Right? All the data types are here, string data types. Right? All the data types are here, string data types. Right. So by default, your Parquet contains only the string data types. By default, your Spark contains only the string data types. But explicitly, we can convert. I mean, before writing the data into the Spark, you can use the especially dot schema option. You can convert your all data types into your respective. But in case if you're not converting everything, it will convert it into the string data types. So the CSV Parquet, right? Because Parquet is a schema on read options. So no need to use the dot option header equal to true. No need to use the dot option header equal to true. So by default, while reading the data from your Parquet, right, it will read that only the data records, not your header, not your header. By default, while creating into the data frame, right, it will come to the header information, because it is a schema on read, right? Schema on read. That is one of the advantage in the Parquet. Moreover, it is a columnar storage, right? It is a compression, right? It is a compression, right? If you want to see the data, right? If you are executing the dot head option, right? If the same operation, if I'm executing onto the CSV file, right? Definitely you will see the content, right? Right? Definitely you will see the content. db utils dot fs dot use the data. Now you're able to see the data, because the data is not compression technique, right? The data is normal CSV, because your header option will give the data, because it is a readable format, right? But Parquet is not readable format. Parquet is not readable format. You have to use that Parquet related tools to read the data. So normally, if you download the data right from the CSV, either from the Notepad or your Reddit Plus, you will not see the data. Either you have to use the especially your Spark APIs, right? Means like your dot format Parquet or Parquet. Otherwise, you have to use the some XYZ tool. So the tool should read the data from that Parquet. That normally, if you want to open the data from that Parquet, right, the data is not at all a readable format like your CSV. CSV always is a readable format. You can open in your data into the Notepad, Edit Place, or your Excel. the data is a readable format. Parquet is not readable format because it is a compressed, right? Compressed data, right? It is a compressed data. If you want to read the data from that Parquet, you have to use either Spark or PySpark APIs, or you can use any that Parquet related tools to read the data. The normal data is not readable, right? In case, so when should I use that Parquet as a my target format, right? In your downstream systems, if they're able to read the data from that Parquet, then only we should convert, right? Otherwise, we should convert the data into the CSV. In case if your downstream systems, they're not able to see the data from that Parquet, just as maybe they're using some internal tools, internal front-end tools, maybe that internal front-end applications, right? The customized application, right? The format is not support. The Parquet format is not support. Only the CSV format. Then we should not convert the data into that Parquet. If you convert the data into the Parquet, definitely it will give the good performance. Right? Definitely it will give the good performance. But your downstream system, if they are not able to read the data from the Parquet, we should not convert. Right? If your data, right, not consumed by downstream systems, the data is dedicated for you only, right? On top of it you can perform the calculations, right? Then we should convert the data into that part. You're 100% sure data not consumed by other teams, this is for you only, right? On top of it you want to perform some internal calculations, right? Then please convert the data into that part. But consumed by your downstream system, your data scientist, right, your internal researching team, right, research and development team, right, they need the data, right, they don't have any Parquet specific technologies, right, then please convert the data into the CSV. So it depends on your downstream systems. But if it is internal format, right, 99.9% will convert the data into that Parquet. Your downstream systems also, they're using the Databricks tools, right? Then we'll use that, especially Parquet, because they can also read the data from that Parquet with the help of the Parquet APIs, right? Means spark.read.parquet or spark.read.format. The method name is the Parquet dot load. Also, they can use. But it will give the good performance, especially saving and your reading, writing also, it will give the good performance because it is a compressed format. Moreover, data is not readable, right? Fortunately, we have the schema on read option. Clear, right? Now take that, I mean, your Azure Data Lake storage, write the data and download that file and open in Edit Plus and Notepad, right? You will see the, I mean, not readable data, right? Not readable data. If you want to read the data from that Parquet, then from that Google, you can download that Parquet supported tools. In case of any freeware Parquet supported tools, right? Then you have to download, then you have to open the file into that Parquet open tools, right? Open tools, and you can see the data. Otherwise, you have to read the data with the help of the Databricks. In case if you want to check, right, whether the data is inserted, I mean, correctly or not, right? Then you can use the dot format, spark.read dot format, or you can use spark dot read dot spark. In CSV also we have the CSV module. This is a Parquet module. CSV, I mean, if you want to read the data from the CSV also, still you can use instead of the Parquet, you can use the CSV. So this is also one of the methodology. This is also one of the methodology. You can read the data with the help of the module and Parquet module. Format up to your wish. If you want, you can use the format or you can use the Parquet also. But in the real time, right? In the real time, we'll use the Parquet only, right? Especially to your internal storage, right? Your data engineering storage, right? Not confirmed by others, right? Maximum will use that Spark. It will give the good performance compared to the CSV. Moreover, it is a kind of space saving, right? To your organization, it is a space saving compared to the CSV. Compared to this, but only the disadvantage, not readable format. Only not readable format. If you want to read the data, if you want to perform the unit test cases, right? You have to perform your unit test cases into the Databricks. In case if you have any third-party testing team, right? Third-party testing teams, they should also use the Databricks to perform the unit test cases. Otherwise, they have to download any open source Spark tools. If it is available, they have to download, they have to do that manual testing, right? In case if the tools are not available, right, to see the data from that Spark, they have to use the Databricks to perform the unit test cases. But CSV, at least they can download, they can open the data into the CSV or Notepad. They can do that manual validations, right? Maybe they can compare the data, right? They can compare, for example, source is Oracle, right? Target is that Parquet. How they will perform the unit test cases? Because they will download the data from the CSV into that some Notepad or some CSV file, some Excel, right? They will extract the data from that Parquet with the help of the Databricks, download Excel. They can compare the data from the file to file, right? But the Parquet is not a readable. You have to use that Databricks APIs or Spark APIs or PySpark APIs to read the data. But otherwise, they have to download. They should search in their Google any Parquet open source tools. Right? They should install the tools to read the data. If the tools are not, for example, you don't have any tools to read the data from the Parquet, right? They should use the Databricks. The testing team also, right? They should use the Databricks to read the data from that Parquet. In this way, they can finish their test cases. Otherwise, it's very tough to perform the test cases on that Parquet. In a testing team also, they should have the basic knowledge on the data frame. Otherwise, you should prepare some unit test queries in the data frame, right? Like same way, spark.read format from your Oracle CSV data, right? Spark.read.parquet from your target data, right? You should come up with some automation scripts in the Databricks. Just they should change that only the source location and target location. Right? You should provide all the count details, that minus queries, not in queries, the duplicate checks, everything. You should prepare the one template. From the template, they should only change the source location or target location. Or you can prepare some dynamic scripts like dbtools.widgets.text. Right? You can provide your input path and output path, your primary keys, your join conditions. Right? They will only change the parameter values, so they will execute. Otherwise, you can prepare some dynamic scripts, right? Execute your dynamic scripts, and that output you can capture into that. Last time we had discussed about the logger, right? From the logger also, you can capture your all statistics of all that objects information, put into that some kind of for loop. You can execute all that objects, right? All that objects in the given sequence. For example, you have that 50 objects. 50 objects, right? You can prepare one dynamic script. I mean, for unit test cases also it will help out, right? Take that all the data from your source, your source CSV and your target Parquet, source count to target count, right? Duplicate checks in the your source, duplicate checks in your target, right? Source minus target, target minus source, right? Your any aggregate calculations, each and everything you can perform with the help of your Databricks scripts, right? To finish your unit test cases. The same code you can share to your testing team, right? They will only change the object name details, path details. They will execute into that QA environment. You can execute your scripts into the development environment. The same scripts they will execute into the QA. They will download that output CSV file, right? They can showcase their unit test cases. That is also one of the advantage. Even you can finish your test cases quickly. No need to perform that manual, right? Everything you can execute with the help of the Spark SQL or your PySpark data frame APIs also, or PySpark data frame transformations also. You can execute. You can capture that output into the CSV. Means you can basically maintain that log. Last time we had discussed about some log files, right? But unit test cases, especially from the Databricks, nobody will perform that manually. Right? You should read the data from the CSV, write the data, into the parquet, take the count details from your parquet, take the count from the your CSV, source minus target, target minus source, duplicate checks from the source, duplicate checks your target, right? These things you can perform row level duplicates, any specific column level duplicates. All right, you can perform your aggregate functions also. You can perform any space checks, everything you can do. Whatever the unit test cases you're planning, right? Then you should write into the scripts only, right? You should write into the scripts instead of the manual. You should write the scripts, right? You can showcase your results to your customer also. All right. So that's also one of the advantage in the Databricks. Nobody will perform that manual test cases. With help of the Databricks only, you should prepare some template. The template, with the help of the template, you can execute your unit test cases. With the same template, you can share to your testing team also, because your target is at Parquet, right? If there's a huge amount of data, it's very tough to download the data, right? Otherwise, you have to use the storage explorer and download the data. Instead of manual testing, right? You can perform that unit test cases here. Then you can take the screenshots of your each and every command, right? Each and every command you can take the screenshot, right? The screenshot you can save into the Word document or in your Excel file, right? To showcase your unit test cases. But unit test cases is mandatory, right? In case if you want to promote that code, right? If you want to promote that code, right? Definition of done. Definition of done. DOD, right? Any agile methodology, right? In agile methodology, they will ask DODs, means definition of done. The definition of done, right? They will ask your test results also. Unit test case results. Unit test case results they will ask. This is one of the item from the DOD definition of done. All right. They, I mean, your project team or maybe your DevOps team, right? Your DevOps team or maybe your client, they will ask, right? Once the definition of done, you provide all the components like your design document, your folder structure approval, your unit test case document, right? Your performance. Your, for example, if you have the separate performance tuning team, right? That you should get approval from the performance tuning team also. They will list out all the definition of what are the, I mean, components you have to showcase as a proof, right? You have to display all the your items, write the sign off document. Just for example, maybe you should get the sign off from the QA team, but you should get that sign off from your SME, right? Your project SME, maybe your project owner. All the, I mean, sign off documents you have to showcase as a definition of that. But one of the item is unit test case reviews. Maybe either Excel or Word document. You have to take that all the screenshots, right? You have to share to your release team or your project team, right? Or maybe your support team, not project team, maybe your support team, right? Because you are handovering this project to your application maintenance team, right? Before deploying that code only, so they will expect that how to document handover takeover, right? Handover takeover. This is naming convention, right? How to naming convention handover takeover. For example, you're the project team. You want to hand over the team to some TCS, right? So they will expect that a photo document. They will expect the definition of done. Right? All that approvals are in place or not. If that all the approvals are in place, then only they will provide the sign off to promote your code into that next level, maybe the production. Right? Especially these things are required into the production. Right? Maybe QA pre-prod depends on your project. Right, restriction. If your project restriction each and every environment, so they're expecting, right, all the components sign off from your development, right? Then you should showcase. Right, few of the projects, right? These your support documents also, right? Our responsibility, the project team responsibility. We should complete, right, the documentation, right? Maybe understanding document, your project design document, right? In your project design document, each and every pipeline, the logic you should explain at a high level. But you should showcase your pipeline definition. Maybe your Databricks code also. For if it is a reusable code, you should provide some kind of nice write up about your that your notebook, what is the usage of the notebook, right? What does your notebook, what is SC type to, right? You should provide that high level logic. What are the audit columns, right? What are the business columns? High level you should explain. If it is reasonable component, right, you should explain high level. No need to provide that individual, but individual data sets information you should list out. Okay, in this release, we are planning to deploy 10, 10 data sets or 50 data sets, right? Out of 50 data sets, how many master data, how many transaction data, whether the master data full refresh or delta refresh. If it is a transaction data, that is, it is a delta refresh on which column you are extracting the delta from the source. That all the data, all the 50 data sets are having the same column to perform the delta extraction, or all the data sets are having that individual columns, that different column to perform the delta extraction. Each and every information we should mention in your design document or in your understanding document, or in your, based on your template. If they're expecting in detailed, or you should provide the detailed document about each and every your data set information. You should provide your pipeline name information, your triggers information, all right, your triggers information, all right, your source path, your target path. If the source from that HANA database, you should provide that HANA details, the database details that user, maybe you will not showcase the password details, right, but username details, the host name, your key vault details, your trigger details, that your target path details, your notebook details, each and everything you have to share inside the your design document or your understanding documents, right? So depends. There are a few people they use it called a HOTO document, handover takeover, correct? Handover takeover. But, but please prepare the unit test cases, right, from the Databricks. Especially you can do that. Also, kind of nice scripts, right, in that with the help of the data frame. The step one, right? Read the data, right? Read the data from source file, right? The second step, Dukes checks, right? Dukes check in source. Third one, right? Source count details, right? Source count details. Execute some aggregate functions on your measure column, right? Like you received quantity, shipped quantity, right? If you want, you can perform, right? Aggregate functions, right? You can execute your aggregate function on your measure column, right? Measure column. If you want to do the, this is a row level duplicates, right? Your row level duplicates. Here, additional data validations. If required, you can perform additional data validations. The same operations you will execute on your target side, right? The same operations, right? Control C. This is from source. This is from the, right. Then you can perform source minus target, right? Source minus target, target minus source. When if you both are full refresh, right? If both are full refresh, you can perform source minus target, target minus source, or maybe left outer join. For example, why should I apply the source minus target, right? But source minus target, right? Each and every column level, you're performing that validations. This also you can do. Now, in case if you want to perform, right? Source left join, TGT on join condition where the TGT column is null. Means your count should be 0, right? If your count should be 0, then your source and target both are equivalent, right? Source and target both are equal. The same way you can perform target, right? Target left join source. If it is a full refresh, I'm talking about. If it is a full refresh, right? On join condition where target column is null. If it is full or delta also, you can do the checks. Means your source and target data should be match, right? I mean, the source primary keys should be available in the target primary keys available should be the source. Maybe for delta, you will see that more records, right? You will see that more records. You will see that more records. Then you should add one additional filter condition. For example, if it is a delta, maybe you're applying the SC type 2, right? In the where class, right? In the where class, what you will do, right? And my target dot effect from equal to the current timestamp, right? Then your source and target count will match. Ultimately, your requirement, right? You should ensure your source count and target count should be the match, right? In case if you are executing these queries, the count should be 0. If the count should be the 0, means yes, your source and target are having the, I mean, the data is matching between your source versus target. If it is SC type 2, right? If it is SC type 2, if it is a delta extraction, right? Then you can do, right? Out of 5 records, how many new records, how many change records. The new records are inserted as a 1. The change records should be 2 changes, right? The count should be 2, right? One is insert, one is at update. So these kind of operations also you can perform as a unit test cases, as a unit test cases. If you're executing, I mean, then only one time investment, right? Your time only one time investment. You can prepare, you can do the some kind of template, right? The template you can use for other objects also. So in this way, you can finish your unit. That's also one other advantage in the Databricks, right? You can finish your unit test cases very quickly. Especially other technologies, very hard to perform the unit test cases, right? With other technologies also, maybe they may 99% they may perform the manual test cases. But here that advantage, because we are working on the big data analytics, not an easy to perform test cases, right? Yes, you should think about the test cases also should be implemented with the help of your Databricks tools. Even interview also you can convey the message to your interviewer. In my project I have generated or have prepared some unit test scripts with the help of the Databricks, right? It's a kind of reusable code, right? Everything is dynamic. Only you should play with your source path details and target path details. We prepared some inbuilt scripts, right? Inbuilt scripts for all that objects, right? All that objects will perform the same unit test cases. If it is, if you want to perform additional, right? Maybe you can come up with some additional checks for, depends on your data sets, right? Depends on if the, right, 99 percentage, yes, you will see that these are common, right? These are common for all the data sets. If you're seeing that additional checks for some XYZ data set, right? You should add the additional checks. But each and everything you can take the screenshot, paste the screenshots into the Word document or in your Excel file as a evidence, right? As evidence, you can showcase your results into the Word document or Excel. This also you can showcase in an interview. In my project, yes, I have prepared some templates, right? Especially for unit test cases. The templates we have shared to that your our quality assurance team, right? You editing, right? Because it is a big data project, it's very hard to perform because the source is HANA, the target is a data lake. How can we perform? It's very hard, right? Right? It's very hard to perform. Otherwise, they should come up with some internal tools, right? The testing team responsible, they should come up with some internal tool to read the data from the HANA and read the data from the data lake with the help of any the query search tools. There are a number of tools are available, especially testing point of view also. But this is also one of the methodology, especially to cost saving. One of that methodology to perform your unit test cases. If you want, you can prepare. These are very simple, right? Spark.read format, right? Drop duplicates, not drop duplicates. Take the count, right? Having count of star greater than 1, right? Having count of star greater than 1. If you're able to see the G record count, then you have the duplicates. You have the duplicates. Yeah, you have the duplicate. Otherwise, spark.read format without drop duplicates, let spark.read format with drop duplicates. The two data frames count you can compare. If two data frames count both are equivalent, right, then there is no duplicate. If both the count is different, right? Then there is a duplicate, right? There is a duplicate. Right? You can perform the aggregation functions, and in case if it is your transactional file, right? Transactional files, that you want to take your measure column and aggregation function, sum or minimum, maximum, right? On your aggregate column, you can do your aggregate functions. Right? If you want to, you can check the duplicates on your primary keys, right? Drop duplicates, that you can explicitly mention your primary key column name list also, right? That your originals target count and drop duplicates target count data frame. If both count is same, means there is no duplicates on your primary case. If the count is not same, right, then there is a duplicate. But before performing the checks, right, you should think about you're extracting the all the data, right? All the data. Right? You should not read the data from that only specific file, right? Specific file and the target. All right. All the files from the target, all the files from the target, the drop duplicates. Right? Maybe you should use the active records also, right? For example, if the target is SC type 2, that if you're simply reading the data, definitely you will end up with the duplicates, because you will see that inactive records also, right? While performing the count, you should do the checks for active records count. On active records, you should do that drop duplicates. If you're implementing the receipt type 2, still you're seeing the duplicates on your active records counter, then your receipt type 2 logic is not working as expected. At any cost, your receipt type 2, that your active record should not end up with any duplicates. If you're seeing the duplicates, means your receipt type 2 is not working, because you should include effective 2 equal to triple and 1231st or flag equal to new, right? While taking the count, always you should include the flag equal to new or effective equal to dub, double and 1231st. In this way, you should see the only active records. Please implement the unit test scripts also from the Databricks. Nobody will perform the, especially big data projects, right? Nobody will do that manual test cases. But the test case scripts also you will execute with the help of the Databricks. With the help of the Databricks. In case your project is required more additional checks, right? You should include. You should, otherwise you can check with your testing team, because already anyway they will maintain the proper the test scripts, right? The test script you can convert into the PySpark code, right? You can convert this PySpark code. You can, this is only one-time investment, right? Only you can change the your file details. Otherwise, instead of checking that individual, right, take all the 50 data set at a time. Right, that output you can capture into that one CSV file, like log file, right? Last time we discussed, right? You can create your log file. Each and every data frame count, right? Count, and it is a kind of variable, right? Number data, right? All the columns you can take into that your Python, or you can create the list. That output you can write into that your CSV with help of the your Spark. With the help of your Spark data frames, or with the help of that RDD also, you can write your output into the your CSV file. CSV file. Depends. If you want, you can perform that individual, or you can perform your bulk, right? You could perform your bulk, but take that entire output into the your CSV, or you can write the data into the table, up to your wish. If you want to perform unit test cases into table also, you can perform in, you can write the data into the table, or you can write the data into the CSV. But on top of it, you can build some Power BI report, or you can showcase your results to your testing team, or maybe your support team also, up to your wish. Clear, right?
Sir, can you share this one, sir? The test cases.
Sorry.
The test cases which you have written, the statements. Yeah.
Okay, sure. I mean, be careful, especially while writing these queries, right? Because you're taking source target, right? If you're taking source one file target, I mean, for example, this is a delta, right? This is a delta source left to gen target. Maybe here you will not see the, I mean, you will see the zero count, but here you will see that more count. Right? You should check with your latest source file versus right latest feed of your target, right? Then you should include and your tgt dot effective equal to double and 1231st and your tgt dot effective from or load date equal to the current timestamp. In this view only you will see the count 0. Otherwise you will see the count more records. You can include a number of unit test cases. You can include a number of unit test cases also. Right? You can do the source path check, target path check, not source path, maybe target path. Target path is available or not. If it is available, so what is that format? That is also one type of check, right? That is also one type of check. You can use try except, right? You can use the try except, right? Source file path exists, right? Yes, path exists, right? One path not exist, zero, right? Path not exist, zero. If the path exists, inside that do we have the files or not? If the files are available, then your data frame count should return the data, right? Otherwise your data frame, it will not return the data. Maybe it may fail, right? Right, it may fail because the files are not available. So these kinds of checks also you can do, right? In the target side, target path exists or not. In the target path only, right? Folder is exist. Maybe inside you don't have any files. Maybe someone has deleted, maybe someone has executed dbutils.fs.rm. Maybe in your code they were executed, right? Automatically files were deleted. Right, spark.read.your format parquet or csv, right? From you're creating into the data frame, right? The count should be written, right? If the count should be written means folder existed, inside the folder files are available. I mean, you can showcase a number of unit test cases also, right? You can showcase a number of unit test cases also. But please prepare one template. Please prepare one template. You can include all the possibilities. You can include all the possibilities. You can try with, I mean, you can check null values, dot is null, is not null, or if you're good at Spark SQL, execute the Spark SQL up to your wish. Some they need some automation in the scripts, whether it is Spark data frame or Spark SQL up to your wish. Write the data into the one CSV also log file. But just only execute for all the 50 objects into that loop, or at that enter all that objects output into CSV, right? Each and every loop you can prepare one list, right? Append the data into that list. The final list you can send the data into the your CSV with the help of RDD or with the help of your PySpark data frame, right? PySpark data frame. That output you can download and you can showcase each and every column, right? Each and every column you can check. You can put nice header information, right? Then you can showcase nice results. But any doubts? For example, let me create the table. Df underscore source, right? Df underscore source. Df source table. This is my source table information. This is my source table information, percentage scale, select star from SRC table. Right, so this is my operations. These are my data operations. Basically, any database operations, right? The basic operations are DML, right? DML operations are insert, update, and delete. So these operations are important for any data engineer, right? If you want to implement your ETL, or if you want to implement your right SCDs, right? If you want to perform your data engineering process, right? If you want to perform some upset logic or like your merge operation, if you want to perform your change data capture, right? Your change data capture, right? Anything if you want to perform, the DML operations are mandatory, right? The DML operations are mandatory. As any data engineer, the DML operations are very basic operations. Right? These are not complex operations, very basic operations. But why should I use the DML operations? Because yes, I want to perform the merge statement. The merge contains insert plus update, right? Your SCDs contains insert update, right? If you want to delete unwanted records, right, then I can use the delete operations, right? I can use the delete operations. Right, yes, I have loaded the data into my target system, right? Target system, right? Out of 100 records, out of 100 records, 3 records are bad records, 3 records are bad records. But in case we want to reprocess, again it is a hectic process, right? A hectic process, right? I need especially basic operation. I want to delete the operations. So as of now, we were implemented SCDs type 1, type 2, type 3, or upset logic, but always we are using that override operations, right? Right, Jagdish sir? Always we are using that overwrite operations.
Yes,
But
sir.
overwrite is not a good option, right?
Yes, sir.
If
We
it is
will use
small
the
amount of
data.
data, a small amount of data, yes, I can perform that overwrite. What about a huge amount of data? Small amount of data, yes, happily I can use the overwrite, nothing harm. Indirectly overwrite means that is a kind of full refresh only, right? But here cleverly implementing that full refresh, reading the data from the target, reading the data from the source, combining and overwriting, right? Right, but why should I read the data from that source, entire data, right? Why should I read the data from that entire source? Why should I perform that overwrite operations? All right, it's not that much of, I mean, safety, right? Especially if you are performing that overwrite operations. All right, I don't want to perform that overwrite operations. Right, can't we execute some delete operations, that unwanted data I want to delete? But for example, you want to delete some records, right? You want to delete some records. Right, for example, you want to delete some records, maybe target where employee code in 101, 103, 105. Maybe you listed out some 100 records, right? You listed some 100 records, maybe some XYZ flag column you're using, maybe indicator column, right? Maybe the source also they're sending some indicator column. That indicator column they want to delete. For example, maybe in that SAP, right? SAP, we have some CD header and CD pass tables, right? Maybe that ERP tables also they're maintaining some kind of indicator information because some posting, right? Some of the records were they want to cancel the delivery, right? The delivery they wants to cancel. That information is available in your CD header, CD pass, right? CD header, CD pass. Maybe your right your sales order information or delivery information, right? Right. Already the data is available in your target system. That LIKP, LIPS data is available in your target system. But one of the end user, right? One of the end user is comparing SAP versus that Azure data, right? SAP versus Azure data. Now he is not able to see the data, right? He's seeing some inconsistency, right? He's seeing some inconsistency between SAP versus Azure data. Because in your SAP, right, in your SAP, the documents were deleted. Maybe that order was cancelled, maybe the delivery is cancelled, maybe the shipping was cancelled. That information is able to available in the CD header, CD pass. Right, they're joining between LIKP, LIPS from the source side. From the source side, they're extracting the data. Right, they're extracting the data. For example, SAP count is 100, right, versus your Azure count is, for example, 120. 120. Now the count mismatch, right? The count mismatch. Then users raise a concern now. My Azure data is not valid, maybe not a right data because the data is not in line with my source. But why it's not inline? You have extract the data from the only source, right? You're not generating any duplicate data, right? In your during your ETL process, right? You're not generating the duplicates, but you're not generating the duplicates, but you're not handling the delete operation. You're not handling your delete operations, but you're not handling your delete operations. But how can I handle the delete operation? Yes, while performing your SCD type 2, right? In case if your CD header CD pass is data is available in Azure, right? Azure. For example, here the problem it is only right your LIPC data extraction, CD header CD pass data extraction. Maybe times are not equivalent in the Azure side. Right, every day you should execute your CD header CD pass. You should join with your LIKP LIPS. If the data is matching, you should exclude these records. Means during your AC type 2 also, you have to include your CD header CD pass. Right, you should exclude if any data is matching with your CD header CD pass. You should exclude those records. You should perform your AC type 2. Otherwise, post completion of your SE type to take the data from your target, then join with your CD header CD pass, then you should exclude. Then only you can see the data match between your SAP versus Azure data. But simply I want to perform the delete operation. To perform delete operations, why should I use that again overwrite? But target contains also huge amount of data. But why you're not performing the delete operations? Happily, you can perform the delete operations, right? Read the data right from the source, read the data from the target, create two tables, apply the delete operations, right? It's not a big deal, right? Right. But why you're not able to apply the your delete operations? All right. Okay. We can apply the delete operations, right? Delete from, all right, delete from SRC table where id equal to 104, right? So this is my delete operation, right? Percentage st delete from SRC table where id equal to 104. Let me go and execute it. But why should I use overwrite operation? Why should I exclude the records? But what is the error message? Delete from table, assertion failed, right? Means it's not supporting your delete operations. Right. Okay, let me try with my update operation. Let me try with my update operation. Let me try with my update operation. Update SRC table, right? Set salary equal to some 2000 where id equal to 104. But why should I use the overwrite operation? Let me use that update operation, right? Let me use that update operation. Again, syntax issue. But there is statement update destination only supports delta sources. If you want to perform that basic update delete, right, these two operation, it will not support on your Spark SQL tables. The regular tables, it will not perform your basic delete and update operation. For any data engineering, any ETL developer, right, update delete are very very basic operations, right? Basic operations, right? So these two operations are not supporting. That's why you're using that overwrite operation. That's why you're using left join, right join. You're excluding the data. You're combining the data. Again, you're writing the data into your target location with the help of that overwrite operations. Overwrite. But I want to perform basic delete and update, right? I want to perform the basic DML operations, right? Delete and update or merge, right? So these are the basic operations, right? Right. These are the my basic operations. Any ETL developer, right? Any ETL developers, right? Any ETL developer or the data engineer, right? data engineer, any data warehousing technician, right? Or any BI technicians, right? The basic operations are delete, update, and merge, right? But we are not able to perform. So this is the kind of drawback, right? So this is one of the challenging in your data engineering, right? So this is the one of the challenging. Right? But how can I overcome this challenge? How can I overcome this challenge? The second one, the second challenging, right? Right. Yes, I have done some operations, right? I have done some operations. Right. I have done some operations. So today I have loaded data, right? Loaded data into my target system. Target system. I realized it, right? I have realized it, right? My source data is invalid. My source content, for example, half of the million records, right? Half of the million records, right? Extracted from source, right? From the source and inserted into, right? Inserted into your target means you're using the right operation, right? Right operations. Maybe in the current day, right? On the 11th May, you have insert the data into your target, all right? You have refreshed your data, right? Now users are able to see the data from the Power BI reports. They're doing some self-reporting, maybe some standard reports. Immediately they have raised one high ticket, all right? High ticket, n number of high tickets from each user, n number of high tickets. Today enter data is invalid. Today enter data is invalid means enter 11th May data insertion is invalid. Yes, they're reading the data, right? Maybe something went wrong from the source side. They mentioned, right? This is not your issue. From the source side, something went wrong, right? Something went wrong it from the source side. Could you please revert back? Could, but how can I revert back? How? So there is a too much complex transformation, right? Right? We have done the some complex ETL, not only simply reading and writing, right? If it is simply reading and writing, happily I can do, right? Happily I can do, but maybe additional, right? Additional efforts I can do the especially overwrite operation, but it's a very complex transformation, right? Airflow is a very complex one. Too much complex transformation to have implemented, maybe AC type 2 or at AC type 2, maybe your business calculations, very complexity. But how can I revert back? But how can I revert back? Very complicated, right? So very complicated. Only easiest way, right? Again, you should re-execute your process from that yesterday files. Not maybe yesterday files means maybe ninth files. You have to read. I mean, you have to create one additional notebook. You have to create some manual activity, right? Read the data from the ninth because the 11th means you have read the data from the 10th files, right? From till 10th, right? Then you have to read the data from the ninth. You have to execute your again your ETL process. At least 70 to 80 percentage issue will resolve, right? 80%, just as maybe 80 percentage issue will resolve. But still issue is not resolved 100 percentage, right? 100 percentage. So there is a major issue from the source side, major issue from the source side, or maybe major issue from your logic side. Users are raising the concern, we are not happy with today data. Could you please revert back? But how can I revert back? Not an easy to revert back the data, right? So they're requesting you to could please revert back, take the data from the last backup because it is a file storage, right? It is a file storage. How can I take the last backup? That is not in my control, right? Again, I should go and check to the my Azure team, right? Again, I should go and check to the Azure team, but we are not sure what is their backup strategy and backup timings, right? Not an easy process, right? Not an easy. So again, is a hectic activity, hectic process. We are not sure that will the revert back within the day. So based on the ticket priority, right? Based on the ticket priority, based on that, especially your issue, right? If that issue type for them, it is that not severe, medium, or low priority as per their SLA, right? Agreed SLA, they will, right? They will work on your request, right? But for you, this is high priority, right? For you, this is high priority. Maybe for them, maybe it's not a high priority. If you are increasing the ticket also, that is agreed issue type, right? If you need any backup, that is not high priority, right? You should go and request, then you should get that approval to increase the ticket, then only they will revert back, but not quickly, right? Again, it is a time consuming process. But what is your goal? What is your requirement? My requirement, right? I'm expecting my old snapshot also. I'm expecting my old snapshot. That old snapshot also I should extract quickly. I should not take too much time. Is it possible? No, it's not possible. Right? It is not possible. Either the regular operation is not possible because you are building some nice SE type 2 or some complex process you are writing. But you're realizing no, I want the data from 9th May. From the 9th May, that old snapshot is that valid. On top of it, you have executed some additional operations, right? Additional operations. Maybe you have deployed one fix. On 10th May, you have deployed the fix. But till 9th May, your data is valid. After 10th May, right, you have deployed some fix, but fix is not working as expected in production. Maybe the fix was, right, maybe executed in the lower environment, the fix was working as expected into the lower environment, maybe developed because you had taken the partial data. But the same fix was you had executed into the production as an emergency fix, some ERFC emergency request for change you had executed, but the fix is not working. But immediately you should think about your rollback plan also, right? So that's the basic, right? For example, if you're doing any deployment, definitely they will ask you, what about your rollback plan? Rollback plan means you should revert back the changes. But how you will revert back the changes into the file storage? In the table, right? The step one will take the backup, right? Will take the backup, right? Then you will execute your code, right? You'll execute your code. Something went wrong, right? Something went wrong. Then, right? Revert back, right? Revert back the changes, right? Revert back the changes. Right? Take the data from backup, or take the data from the table system. If it is a table, happily we can execute these operations, right? It will not take more time. But the file storage, right? Again, I should take the backup, right? Again, I should take the backup from my file storage, right? File storage. Right? Why should I take the data from the file storage? But this is the rollback plan, right? This something went wrong on your fix, right? Something went on wrong on your fix. You have to take that backup plan. That is mandatory. That is a mandatory. That is a mandatory step, right? That is a mandatory step. Correct. If it is a table, we can execute that query. But who will take that backup? That's either your data engineer responsibility if you have that access, or your platform team responsibility to take the backup. But platform team will tell that this is your application work, why should we work on your backup? Then you should think about it from the data bricks, right? You have to take the backup, right? You have to create one more additional folders, right? In the same folder structure, you have to create some underscore backup. Underscore backup, you should create that underscore backup folder, right? Before fix, right? That existing data you take that backup and you should execute. Something went wrong, then your backup to main folder, your main folder to backup. But too much, right? Right? It is a time taken process. Right? It is again too much time taken process. Right? Not an easy to take that backup. Manually, you should execute your backup scripts, right? Maybe move command or a copy command, or maybe you may use a binary copy operation, that ADF. Again, it is a time consuming process, the time consuming process. So this is also one of the challenging, right? This is also one of the challenging, right? Maybe yes, I want to take the time travel. I want to take the time travel, especially for the data scientist, right? Especially for data scientist. So they will keep on deploy their models, right? Keep on they will deploy the model. In case they're not happy with the current model, that maybe current model, the predictive analysis not 97 or 98 percentage. Maybe it is showing maybe 90 percentage, 89 percentage, but their average cutoff, that predictive analysis is 97 percentage. But you had deployed your code into the production, maybe in the lower environment development, QA pre-prod, because you're not having the production data, right? This is your testing data, right? Maybe partial data, maybe in the partial data, your predictive analysis is showing 98 percentage, 99 percentage, right? Then you are deployed the data into the production, but your model in the production, in the Real data, it's not giving 97 or 98%. It's giving less than 90 percentage. Right? Less than 90 percentage. Right? With less than 90 percentage, you will not use that solution, right, to perform your analytics. Right? What is your next immediate solution? You should revert back. But how can you revert back? Not an easy process, right? It is a hectic activity, right? It is a hectic activity. Right? Each and every deployment, you should prepare some a rollback plan. Even the rollback plan also not a simple solution, right? Not simple. It is again hectic activity, right? So this is also, I mean, solution is available, right? Solution is available, but not an easy. Again, it is a major challenge. Right? Again, this is one of the major challenge. Right? You're not able to perform the SCD operation like delete, update, merge operations. Plus, you're not able to do the time traveling, right? Old snapshots, right? I want to take it old snapshots. Immediately, the old snapshot should be overwritten with my current data. Right. So that is also one of the challenging, especially in the data engineering. Data engineering. Plus my data is not consistency. Right? My data is not consistency. The same writing type, one of the user is reading, one of the user is reading. Multiple users are reading from different time zones. Maybe the same time reading happening or writing happening, right? But they are saying that not consistency data. They are seeing some inconsistency data, right? Inconsistency data. That is also one of the challenge, right? That is also one of the challenging, right? The frequency in the source stream, they're changing the data types. They're changing the data types. I should not allow those records. I should not allow this because the file system obviously it will allow the your additional columns because you're writing, you're using that overwrite operation, maybe you're using that append operations to the source 10 columns, right? The 10 columns you will see then your targets. Tomorrow maybe the source adding additional 2 columns, 12 columns, but you're also extracting the 12 columns. But why should I extract the additional 2 columns? No, I don't want to see these 2 additional columns into my target locations. I should make out my process failure. But if you want to make out failure, right? If you want to make out failure, you should come up with some customized logic, right? Why should I come up with customized logic? The source is sending the 12 columns. Your target is having the 10 columns, right? 10 equal to 12, right? Both are not equal. Your process should fail. So by default, the file story, it will not fail. If it is a table, yes, it will fail, but file store, it will not fail. Right? Either you can take append operation or overwrite operation based on your mode. Right? If it is append, right, the latest file contains the 12 columns. If it is overwrite, it will overwrite with the 12 columns. So that existing data, it is considered as null. But again, you should perform the proper union operation. Right? So that is also one of the challenging, right? That is one of the, I want to make out failure. The second one, I don't want to make out failure. I don't want to make out failure. Right? I don't want to make out failure. I'm looking for some schema evaluation. Yes, source team adding additional columns. Right? I'm expecting additional columns also should be available into my target location. So that is also my additional operations. My schema enforcement or my schema evaluations. My schema evaluations. Right? I'm expecting proper asset properties like atomicity. Right? Atomicity means 100% completion or no completion. I don't want to do the any partial commitments. The data should be consistency across the all that users. Right? Once the record is saved into that my target location, right? That is a permanent save. Right? Permanent save. Right? Permanent save. Right? So these kind of database operations I want to execute. I want to execute. These are one of the challenging. I'm not seeing any 100% acid operation for your normal storage, but I'm expecting 100% acid operations. I'm expecting schema enforcement or schema evaluation. I'm expecting some time travel. I'm expecting some time travel. I want to execute my SCD operations. I want to execute my SCD operations on my file storage. Yes, we can execute, but you're executing with overwrite operations. I don't want to execute, right? I want to execute my merge operations. I want to execute my insert operations. I want to execute my update operations. I want to execute my update operations. Right. Plus, I want to see my complete history information, like versioning, right? Versioning. Maybe, for example, my data has been changed more than 15 times. The 15 times information I want to see. Maybe I want to go third version. I want to go 10th version. Maybe I want to go with initial versions. So these kind of facilities are not available in your ETL processing, right? For example, any ETL, for example, you're working on informatica or data stage or ab initio or BODS, for example, right? You're executing your ACD operations on your, for example, product file or some XYZ file, right? So this code was executed more than 30 times, right? 30 times execution, right? 30 times execution. 30 times execution. All right. So there is a request from your user. Could you please extract from 15th execution? Right? Could you please revert back the data from the 15th execution? Is it possible? It's not possible, right? It's very complicated process. But after 15th execution, you had since few more 15 executions, right? But your request that the latest 15 executions are not valid. Please revert back. But how can I revert back? Then again I should go and ask to my DBA that this 15th execution, that backup, do we have that backup from the database point of view, or maybe your traditional approach, right? Your target system always the database. You should go and ask to your DBA, do we have the backup on the 15th? That do we have the backup on maybe 15th? Right? But they will say no, we are not maintaining the 15th backup. We are maintaining only the latest week backup. Only the latest week backup. Only the latest week backup, maybe either 8th or 9th. 8th or 9th. No help from your DB, right? Right. But users are raising concern after 15th, that after 15th something went wrong. Could you please immediately revert back the changes? Right. There is a emergency fix required. There is a emergency fix required after 15th data. Correct. Please take the snapshot from the 15th. On top of it, please execute some emergency RFC. But DBA said they don't have that backup. They don't have that backup. They don't have. What is the next way? Alright. Then you should delete all the data after 15th. But still, you may lose your proper data on the 15th, because from 15th there are many changes happened. Now you have to execute SC type 2, right? The changes will be reverted back to old date, right? Then the 15th inactive records, again you should make it to active. All right. It's not an easy process, right? Not an easy process, very complicated process. Then you should think about how many inserts, how many updates. It's not an easy process. It is a time taken process, but they're requesting you to implement immediate ERFC. Please provide the data to end users till 15th. At least they will do some analytics. It's very complicated to do the time. This is kind of your time traveling, right? This is kind of your time traveling, right? Kind of your time traveling. I want to execute my time traveling, but how you will execute your time traveling? It's not possible, right? You want to extract your old snapshots. You want to extract your old snapshots. It's not an easy, right? The too much, I mean, work is required. Too much work is required to perform your old snapshots. Maybe you have the requirement. Suresh is having the requirement, right? His end users are request to Suresh. Okay, I need the solution, right? Current snapshot, snap versus the last snapshot. Previous day, for example, previous day. He's expecting some current snapshot versus previous snapshot. So they're requesting, could you please provide the two data sets, current snapshot versus the last snapshot, mean previous day snapshot. Previous, maybe they're performing some analytics, maybe that's a full refresh, the calculated data, the calculator they want to compare with the current snapshot versus a previous snapshot. Then Suresh come up with two jobs, right? One is the current snapshot, one is the previous snapshot. But every day he will maintain the two folders, right? Current day and the previous day. Before writing the data into the target, they should do the binary copy into the latest folder, previous snapshot, the latest current data output underscore current snapshot. But physically you're maintaining the two copies, right? Physically maintain the two copies. Unnecessarily, it is a time unnecessary space issue, right? Not only one day, right? Every day you have to maintain. Then you should request your source team, especially your data pruning or your retention, to delete the old snapshots. But again, time taken process, right? Too much calculations are involved or logic is involved. Means ultimately you're not able to perform time traveling. Time travel, but time traveling is not an easy solution. It's very hard. Even the traditional approach also, it is a very hard. But I am expecting this option. I'm expecting this option, right? With help of this option, I can create wonders in my analytics. Right? I can create my wonders in analytics. Even the data scientist also, they need the solution, right? Because they're not 100% sure about their models, right? Their models may or may not give that accurate into the current execution. If the current execution is not giving, that maybe they have some solution. Maybe the conditional statement. If their current snapshot if is not giving greater than 95 percentage predictive analysis, right? Right. If it's greater than 95 percentage, they have to use the current model. Example I'm giving. If it is right less than 95, they have to use that old model. They have to immediately they have to refresh that old model. But immediately they have to use that old model. Right? Immediately they have to refresh their old model. But ultimately the solution, right? Time traveling. Time traveling. These kind of requirements are maybe this is the current KPI calculation. These kind of requirements are not available in my traditional approach. It's available, but very hard to implement, right? Very hard to implement. Not an easy solution, very hard to implement. But every day I want to compare with my current snapshot versus previous snapshot. Right? Current versus previous. But they can build these kind of models into the data warehousing on the Power BI. I don't want to build. I need the data set. Then the data set simply I need to do the joins, or maybe I have to perform some consolidation with previous and current. I don't want to perform any complex transfer. Just simply two data sets. I want to do the my comparison previous and current snapshot. Last means the previous snapshot. But to implement these kind of scenarios, we need the time traveling. The data engineering, they're encountering one of the challenging, they're facing one of the challenging time traveling. They're facing one of the challenging update operation. They're facing one of the challenging delete operation. They're facing one of the challenges to implement that SCTs. Like your database operation, they're not able to implement the same database operation to implement the SC type 1, type 2, type 3. Each and every time they're using the overhead operations. Schema enforcement, schema evaluation, right? Schema evaluation, consistency data across to all the users, consistency data into the my data lake, right? If any user executed data on my files, the data always should be consistency. The data should be right. I mean the consistency data to all the users. They should not see there any inconsistency data. If Kiran is executing, the data should be the same. Suresh also executing, the data should be the same. The data should not see the any difference to Kiran and Suresh. But these kind of challenging I'm facing it. These kind of challenges I'm facing. But how can I overcome these challenges? Right? How can I overcome these challenges? Right? How can I overcome these challenges? The solution is called Delta Lake. The solution is called Delta. The solution is called Delta. To overcome your data engineering challenges, right? To overcome your data engineering challenges, especially in the big data projects, right? We'll use the Delta Lake concept. We'll use the Databricks Delta Lake. With the help of the Databricks Delta Lake concept, we can overcome all the challenges. That one of the advantages asset properties. Second one, it is a open storage. This is also one of the advantage. Default, the Delta Lake is a format is a Parquet. You can perform insert anyway. We can perform normal also. You can perform updates. You can perform deletes. You can execute SCDs. You can implement your SCDs or your ETL instructions or your data engineering. Right? You can perform schema enforcement. You can make out your fail. Or you can do the schema evaluation also. You can do the schema evaluation. Right? You can maintain time traveling. Right? You can maintain time traveling. Your versioning, right? You can maintain your versioning. You can maintain your versioning. You can see your history audits also. Right? You can see your history audits. You can see your history audits. How many times you have done your changes, right? You can see your history audits. But there are many advantages of your Delta. These are the challenges in your data engineering. To overcome these challenges, we'll use the Databricks Delta Lake concept. Databricks Delta Lake concept, right? If it is SQL related, right, just your format should be Delta. On top of it, you can execute your all SQL operations. Data engineering point of update, delete, right? All these operations you can execute. Means same like your polybase mechanism, because physically the data is available in your Azure Data Lake storage. On top of it, you can create your Delta table also. Delta table also means update deletes means it should be only table, right? The data physically available in the file, but on top of it you can create a managed table or unmanaged tables also. You can create unmanaged table, nothing but your external tables like your polybase. You can create unmanaged tables on your file system, right? On unmanaged table, you can execute your DML operation like update, delete, inserts also you can do. If you're performing any DML operations in your unmanaged table, automatically the data will be effect on your file system also. Well, this is also one of the advantages in the Delta Lake. Like same, it is equivalent to your polybase mechanism. Maybe they were implemented the same concept from the polybase only. Right? The polybase same thing, right? You can create sectional tables. Physically, the data is available in the file storage, but on top of it, you can create sectional tables, right? Here, the external table is nothing but a unmanaged table. You can create managed tables or unmanaged tables. Managed tables means the tables will be physically available into the your Spark cluster, right? Unmanaged tables means the tables are not available. Up to your wish, you can create a managed or you can create unmanaged tables also. Right? To overcome all your data engineering challenges, right? We'll use the Databricks Delta Lake concept. Too many advantages from the Delta Lake. Too many advantages from the Delta Lake. Clear, right? Suresh, clear, right?
Yes, Sumit. Yeah.
So we'll discuss in detail the practical. So this is the high level, the challenges. To overcome the challenges, so these are the basic operations, right, Suresh? Any data engineering, any data processing, ETL. So these are the basic operations, right? But we were implemented SCDs with a complex process, right? Right.
Yes, yes.
You're right. That is a complex, but solution is the same. Bam. Solution is the right solution, but it's a complex process, right? Why should I read huge amount of the data? That is not the correct way, right? Plus
Yeah.
I'm executing that overwrite operations. So that's why we're taking the safety wise backup, right? Right, Suresh? Unnecessarily you're
Yeah.
spending your time on backup also, right? Backup also not an easy process, right? If it contains petabytes data, time taken process, right? Your backup also.
And we
Remember
don't
we
know how
discussed
to
it.
it. Yeah.
Sorry.
And we don't know how much data or how many days we have to keep as a backup.
Correct. Plus, already we were discussing the debutilities command, especially that fs command, we should not execute on huge amount of data, right? Because Databricks utilities are not distributed commands, right? Right.
Yes.
Only your Spark commands are distributed commands, right? Your Spark API is only distributed. If you're executing huge amount of data, if you're taking that backup, time taken, unless you're increasing your runtime, right? Unless you're increasing because you don't have the trust, right? You don't have the trust. Maybe during the write operation, because I'm taking that overwrite, something went wrong, right? But unless my efforts gone right, that's why safety said I'm taking that backup. Right. Maybe that process, right? That is a dynamic process. Maybe that step also part of your code. But huge amount of data, maybe you're spending 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. Then you identify the bottleneck. Again, you're requesting your data factory to take the backup, maybe binary copy. You're seeing the good performance, but unnecessarily you're increasing one component, right? Either data factory or the utilities command, right? Right, the basic SDs I'm not able to. Plus the data is not consistency. Right, not plus explicitly I have to convert the data into that Parquet. All right. Maybe I want to make out my job failure in case any mismatch. Maybe I don't want to make out failure. There are two scenarios, right? The schema enforcement, schema evaluation. There are two scenarios, right, Suresh? You can make out failure. I don't want to make out failure. Right? Maybe source they're adding some additional columns. You can also bring some additional columns. Your target also should be dynamically override the alter scripts, right? Right. That Parquet, right? The Parquet because it is schema and read operations, right? Your Parquet always schema and read operations. That you have to override your schema informations. The time travel, this is one of the major complexity, right, for my data engineering or my traditional approach. Unnecessarily, we should go and beg to the my database administrator, or maybe in the cloud, I should go and beg to my platform team or my cloud team, right, for backup. Not an easy, right? Plus, I want to see how many times right changes were done. All right, it's very hard, right? Again, I should log into the my ETL log table, then I should execute, right? I should execute, for example, you're executing per day 100 times. All right, sorry, not per day 100 times. Overall you're executing daily 3 to 4 times. Then you should take that group by operations, right? Group by operations. But you want to see the latest changes, right? You want to see the latest changes, right? How many times that versions are available, right? How many times that versions are available, each and every version, what kind of operations you are executed, right? Right, each and every, right, DML operations you want to see. Okay, this update this version number, this delete this version number, this insert this version number. So these kind of information I'm not able to see. If you're maintaining explicit ETL log, it will maintain only one log information per your execution, right? But I want to see one table, internal table. That internal table should contain all the your history audits information. So these are the especially kind of my disadvantages and the drawbacks to overcome your data engineering challenges, right? The Databricks Delta came into the picture. To overcome your data engineering challenges, the Databricks Delta came into the picture. With the help of the Databricks Delta Lake, yes, we can create that wonders. You can simplify your data loads. You can simplify your data loads. You can simplify your ETL. You can simplify your SCDs. You can maintain your proper consistency data. You can do the time traveling. You can go to last year also. If your data is available in your organization latest years, still you can go and compare your old year snapshot and current snapshots also. You can compare. You can give the too much flexible, too many KPIs to your end users, right? That is your responsibility. For example, they're building too much complexity snapshots, right? You can simplify the solutions, right? Because the time traveling concept is available in your database Delta Lake. Right? So these are the advantage of the Databricks Delta Lake. These are the disadvantages, not disadvantages, challenges, right? Especially, I mean, these challenges, right? We can implement with the help of the non-Delta Lake also, but the complexity, right? Complexity, right? You should come up with too much complexity, right? No, I don't want to go with the complexity. I want to go with a simple solution, right? Then Delta Lake will use. Any doubts? Jay sir,
Sir, I have to see one,
Databricks.
sir.
Sorry,
I mean, one we will implement as a Delta Lake. We will see that one, sir.
can you speak a bit loud?
Uh, Hello.
Yeah, yes, sir.
The Delta Lake one implementation we will do now. I will see
We'll do.
and just
Yeah, we'll do tomorrow practical, right? This is only theory, right?
yes, sir. And
We'll
I
do
was not able to understand that time traveling, sir. How that we will do.
time traveling means old snapshot, sir. Just I'm asking you, for example, you have implemented Informatica. Today your
Correct.
SCD, your data loading, not SCD, today data load completed, okay? You have done some emergency RFC, right?
Mm.
You have loaded the data. Unfortunately, users are busy with their calculations. After 3-4 days, they
Mm.
realized, hey Jagadish, the solution, right? Maybe the solution is your
Mm.
fix, right? It's your fix is not working as expected. Could
Mm.
you please revert back the changes?
Mm.
So what you will do? You will prepare the backups, right? You will prepare the, I mean, right? Your backup scripts you will prepare, right?
Right, sir.
The rollback plan you will prepare, right? So what your
Yes.
solution? You will go with your rollback, but again you will go and request to your database administrator only, right?
Correct, sir.
Right. What your solution is? I mean, your solution went wrong. Maybe your solution is not working in the production, right? Maybe you are assumed as ERFC, right? You did some fix. You want to revert. What is your plan? A rollback plan, right?
Right, sir.
Right? You implement a rollback plan. On top of it, you will implement the solution. Now, maybe the latest changes, the latest fix is working as expected. That customers provide the sign off, right? Maybe sign off to resolve the ticket. Now everything is working as expected. Right, working as expected. Now after 1 month, maybe users are raising the concerns. Right, the latest transactions are invalid from the source itself. Right, they're planning to some emergency fix, or maybe it will take that fix 3 to 4 days. 3 to 4 days. Could you please delete the latest 10 days data in your target system? That what you will do? You will prepare some delete statements, right?
Correct, sir.
Right. With the delete statement, but in between you're having some complex process. SCDs you are implemented. If you are implementing the SCDs, right, your effective, it will change that values, right? Or right,
Right, sir.
it's very hard to revert back that effective to inactive to active, right?
Correct, sir.
Right. It's very hard, right? Each and every record you should go and check, right? That record is available into the latest 10 days. If it is available in latest 10, then you should revert back to the current timestamp, right? Or you should come up with right, the primary keys, the distinct primary keys, all the distinct primaries count, effective count should be the same. If it is not same, somewhere the latest records are inactivated, right? Right, sir? Right, for example, 101 Jagadish record. 101 Jagadish record, the latest 10 days, there was a change. But you deleted 101 record, right? You had deleted 101 record. But now Jagadish 101 record was inactive, right? Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
129. But how you will activate? Each and every record you should check, right? Each and every record you should check. Means take the data from the last 10 days. The record you should compare with your latest 10 days. If it is available, your effective equal to double and 1231st. In this way, you can activate it, but not an easy process, right? You should come up with some complex ETL logic, right?
Correct, sir.
But can't we do the simply revert back? No, it's not possible to simply revert back, right? It is a hectic process. Otherwise, you should go and check with your DBA. Have you taken everyday backup? They said, no, we are not taking the everyday backup. We are taking only weekly backup. Yes, we are maintaining that yes, 4 weeks, latest 1 month backup, but the data was in maybe in between Thursday, right? Thursday. But what about the latest 4 days data? Latest 4 days data. Again, on top of it, again, you should execute 4 more deltas, right? Each and every operation, it's a very costly operation. It is a hectic activity. Simply, I want to go and take the data from 10th April. Is it possible in a traditional approach?
No, sir.
It's not possible, right?
Not possible, sir.
Right? It's not possible, right? Means you're going back to your time travel, right? It means you're going to your back dates, right? Your back dates, right? I want to go with my last 10 days history, right? I want to go back the last 10 days history. The latest 10 days operation, the 10 days operation, that insert updates, deletes are not valid. Not valid. I want to take the data from April 1st. But April 1st data should be overwrite with current data. How can I do? In case if you have that backup, right? Let me take that backup, right? Rename, right? I can do the rename. But you don't have the backup, right? You don't have the backup. You don't have the backup. But how you will do? So basically, you're time traveling, right? You're going back to April 1st back dates, right? I want to take this data with my current data, right? Means maybe this data with overwrite with your current data. If you're overwriting, the data should be, I mean, your data should be only from April 1st data. The after April 1st, right, the data went wrong from the source side. Maybe your calculations. But how can you implement these kind of operations, right? How can you implement these kind of operations? Right? How can you perform these kind of operations? The operation name is called time traveling. In the given period, right? Any back periods also you can go and fetch the data. Any calendar information, any calendar date. Yes, I need so and so dates information. You can go and extract. You can see your pre-snapshot. You can see your current snapshot. So without backup, it's not possible, right? Without backup, it's not possible. It means every day you want to take that backup. If you take that everyday backup only, these kind of solutions are possible, right? But unnecessarily you're increasing your space also, right? Will you agree? If you want to implement these kind of pre-snapshot and current snapshot, every day we should take that backup. Then only it's possible. The solution is available, but that is a costly solution. Costly solution. Right. So this is a pain activity. This is every day. This is a pain activity. Means every day you should complete data loads. Then you should take that backup. But you have the neck-to-neck loads, right? You're unable to, deliver the SLAs because this is one of the, one of the operations. You are taking the backup, right? You're taking the backup. You're taking the backup. Or post completion also, you have to take that backup, right? Post completion also, you have to take that backup. But unnecessarily you're performing the additional operations, right? Additional operations. But I'm expecting simply, yes, please, just simply I want to execute this logic. Select star from, right? Select star from my backdates. Simply I'm executing backdates. If I'm executing the backdates, I want to take the backdates. My specific dates that I want to perform. So these kind of facilities are not available. These kind of facilities are available. Physically, you have to maintain your backdates data into that your file storage. Then I can create one backdates table on my backup file. Then I can execute. Then I can take this data, I can overwrite. This is possible. But why should I maintain that each and every day backup file? But to overcome these issues, yes, Delta Lake concept, right? The Delta Lake maintain multiple versions data, right? If you're executing your multiple operations on your data, multiple operations with DML only, right? Insert, update, delete, right? Insert, up. If you're executing multiple operations, the multiple operations versions it will maintain in the form of dates and the version number, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It will maintain. It will maintain the date as well as your version number. With the help of the versioning number or with the help of the date, you can go back to your backdates. You can go back to your backdates. Which data you want to extract, you can go back. Clear, right?
Yes, sir.
So basically, the backdates, I mean, if you want to travel to your old dates, right? Old dates, you need versioning concept, right? You need versioning concept, you need one date information. With the help of these two combinations, you can travel to your backdates also. Means your pre-snapshot or old snapshots also you can extract. You can extract. It will not take time consumption. Within 5 to 10 minutes, you can immediately revert back your changes also. That is one of the advantage in the Delta Lake. Clear, right?
Yes, sir. And
Your
this
voice is
will
very, very low,
work.
sir. I'm not.
Sir,
Am I
sorry, sir.
audible, right?
You're audible only, sir. My network issue is there. What I was saying is this time travel will work if we have this partition type of data, correct, sir?
Not partitions, right? Up to your wish. You can go, partition is kind of add advantage, right?
Okay, sir.
Partition is added advantage, right? Like versioning means you will see 0 means first snapshot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like this you will maintain.
Okay,
The
sir.
latest is your current snapshot. So this is your
Got it.
previous snapshot. Maybe the 678, right? The 678, maybe in the current day, maybe these three versions. One is insert, one is update, one is delete also. Or you will see the some timestamp also, like your timestamp information. Right? 2021 0401. Some timestamp 10 o'clock 45. Right, you will maintain it n number of dates. Each and every execution, you will see the one date. With the help of this data, we can extract like the same query, backdates, right? Backdates at the rate 7 means executing select star from backdates at the rate 7 means it will take the data from the 7th version. Like same backdates as of now, right? You can give the your dates information. Simple select statements because your delta contains old data plus current data. Old data plus current data, it will hold. It will hold. Based on your data purging, you should execute the data purging techniques. Automatically, you can delete your old snapshots also. Now, I don't want to delete the old snapshots. Yes, you can keep the data. You can keep the data right in your data lake. But whenever you're executing your, for example, just as a backdates your table name on select star from backdates. It will extract only active records. It will not see that your inactive data. I mean, this is only select star from backdates means just assume maybe your ninth version is the latest one. Just assume ninth version is the latest one, right? You will see the select star from the backdates in the ninth version. Your ninth version contains right, all the latest records. All the latest records you will see. All the latest records you will see. Right? If you are executing third version, right? Control C. Execute third version means select star from immediately it will take the data from here. It will take the data from the third version. Right? You can travel to any dates. You can travel to any version. So that is the so this kind of concept is not available any in your on-premise systems, right? Right, sir? Do you have this kind of solution? No, right? In
No,
an
sir.
Informatica, what is any? I think, as of my knowledge, this kind of solutions are not available, right?
No, sir.
Not
No, sir.
quickly, right? I mean, again, you have to save that maybe your backup, right? You have to save the data into the backup. But here I'm not saving. Here explicitly not saved by me, right? Explicitly, I mean implicitly saved by your Delta Lake. Implicitly saved by your Delta Lake. Clear, right?
Yes, sir.
In case if you don't have any doubts, we'll connect tomorrow. Okay. Tomorrow we'll discuss in the practical the Delta Lake. The practical will do the Delta. What are the disadvantages? The Parquet, right? the schema evaluation, schema enforcement we'll discuss. Right. Then we'll start delta, like how to create the delta, how to write the data into the files, how to create managed tables, how to create unmanaged tables, how to implement the merge operations, right? How to take that version concept, the dates concept, how to read the data from the specific version, how to read the data from the specific timestamp, to create data frame from the delta file, to write the data into the delta file, how to create the managed tables, unmanaged tables, right? We'll discuss how to perform the time traveling, the history audits, the schema evaluation, enforcement. We'll discuss tomorrow. Okay.
Sure.
The CACD have raised a request. Haven't received any confirmation from the Microsoft. I think last time I have shared that one URL, right? This URL already they were restricted. Right? They were restricted now. From the free subscription, we don't have an option to do the CACD. While executing the release process or the build process means the pipeline process is getting failed, right? Because that agent, right? That agent is not working. All I have requested to the Microsoft to provide that access to my organization. I think as per this blog, it is a 5 to 7 days process. I have requested on last Saturday. We'll see. Maybe mostly 1 or 2 days they'll come back. Within 1 or 2 days they'll come back. Once if they enabled, we can finish our CACD process. In the meantime, we'll finish the delta lake concept and the stream analytics will finish. Okay. Tomorrow we'll finish the delta lake. Then we'll discuss day after tomorrow the stream analytics. Then we'll discuss about the CACD. I think 3 days classes are pending. I think maximum 2 to 3 classes are pending. Okay. Yeah. Thanks everyone.